Fearless Disease.
President Trump is pulling the U.S. out of 66 international groups that he says, quote, no longer serve American interests, including a UN climate treaty. Our next guest has been calling on him to do just that, and it comes less than a year after pulling out of the Paris Climate Accords. Joining me now is Mark Morano of ClimateDepot.com, and he's the executive editor there. Mark is
Interesting. Fearless Disease fam, today we expose the truth they hate to hear. Like right now, if you are ready. As you see, Trump administration announces withdrawal from dozens of international organizations, UN agencies, and climate pacts and more. Calling, I don't know if he's going to say this right here, but from what I read and what I've seen, but I haven't heard him say it out of his mouth, when he's calling them wasteful and anti-American. This is interesting. Let's see what they have to say about it.
It's always great having you on. So let's talk about this, because President Trump famously took us out of that Paris agreement in his first term, saying, I'm the president of Pittsburgh, not Paris. He's doing it again with this agreement. Why don't you break down what Pittsburgh, this actually means? Is this Paris, more than a symbolic gesture?
Yes, if you know, we've been going through the yin-yang of this climate policy for over a decade. Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. And so what the problem is if a future president, AOC or Gavin Newsom comes in, they just put us right back in. So what Donald Trump's done this time, different than just pulling us out of the UN Paris Climate Pact, think of it like a Jenga table. He's pulled out the base of the Jenga table, and it's collapsing. This is the 1992 Rio Earth Summit, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change treaty that is the foundation for all of the madness. I was going to say mandates, but actually mandates, madness, same thing. And this goes back to 1992. This is net zero. This is the UN climate treaties. This is the entire United Nations climate agenda, the grandfather of them all. By withdrawing from this, there's legal analysts say, and according to Politico and other publications, you're going to need the next president to resubmit for Senate ratification to get us back into this mess.
Wow.
So Trump 2.0 has gone and exceeded everything beyond what Trump 1.0 in his first term did. And we're also out of the UN Population Fund, which is a great thing. We're also out of the UN Climate Panel, the IPCC, which was merely a political body masquerading as a science panel that had to take their orders line by line from politicians when they would do their climate reports. So this is a day of liberation. This is true America first. One of the most significant things he's done in his presidency when it comes to international regulatory policy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you...
Makes sense. I mean, the first wave is going to hit 2026 budget. But some will say, well, overall, it's going to save billions. But some people will think that it's going to isolate the U.S. global health, trade, and security. It might, but it's going to make them stronger. He means it. America is not just a name. It's not just what they feel like it's just him. They think it's a cult or whatever. It's make America great again. He wants to put America first. He wants them us to be the powerhouse, us to be proud of being Americans. And with him isolating us just a little bit, just so we can focus on our American identity, is actually a good move if you really love America.
Broke that down. You're right. It is. It has great significance, as you laid out, but also it's going to save us a lot of money. I just wonder if we should just pull out of the UN altogether, but we can have that discussion later. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this, because there's a new bill proposed in Massachusetts that's trying to limit.
That's very true. I mean, I don't think they would ever pull out of the UN completely. No, we still want to have allies and still have friends out there. But just because we want to focus a little bit more on us doesn't mean that we don't love other places or love other countries. So that doesn't mean that at all. But I don't think it's ego. I think it's a good move. I think this is going to make us stronger and not weaker in front of the world stage. Just let other countries do the same thing. They have their own curriculum. They have their own ways. And they pull out a certain organization. So why is it bad when we do it as Americans, especially when it comes to Trump? And he understands that we want to be a powerhouse and stand on our own 10 instead of always relying on other countries, i.e. the tariffs, everything. That's how he wants to move. As far as like the gentleman said, Trump 2.0 is a little bit different from Trump 1.0. I think he's editing a lot of the mistakes. I think he's grown. I think he's seen the big picture when it comes to America's success. Smash that like, tap the next video here on the screen, subscribe and hit that bell. Cash App, FearlessDisease, always in the description if you're rocking with the movement. We'll see you on the next one. Stay rich and stay fearless.